Hello everyone, GoldenNova here. Today's topic is all about Tribrigade, a new archetype to be released in Phantom Rage. What makes them special is, aside from a few exceptions, their effects aren't tied to their theme, but to the typings of Beast Warrior, Beast, and Winged Beast. While the deck has a few power plays of its own, it's becoming exceedingly clear as more and more people experiment with it that the Heretic Herd will primarily be supplementing existing themes, up to and including the infamous Apex Avian Lock. Seriously, first it was Pendulum, then Union Carrier plus Sovereignty Simorgh setups, and now there's this iteration? When are we just not going to invite Big Bird to a format? I'm scared they might actually cause a problem at some point. I normally have more of a preamble here, but there's honestly not a lot going on with them. I mean, their cards have a lot of lore to them, but I want to cover them in a separate video. That way I'm not bouncing back and forth between the mechanics analysis and the lore analysis. But more importantly, all the official release images have the Yugioh watermark on them, and I don't want to miss any details because of it. So if you don't want to miss out on my findings and conclusions on how the Dragma and Tribrigade archetypes fit together, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And with that call to action out of the way, let's take a look at what this trinity of typings have to offer and how their tactics can enhance their peers. It's time to tackle the Tribrigade. First, let's take a look at the main deck monsters. They all share a single effect, and it's the big reason to play the deck in the first place. You can banish any number of Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monsters from your grave as cost, then special summon a Beast, Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast Link monster from your extra deck with a Link rating that matches the number of monsters banished. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot use monsters for Link material unless they're Beast, Beast Warriors, or Winged Beasts. Whew, that was a mouthful. Okay, additional note here, from now on, I'll be using the term Tri-type in place of saying Beast, Beast Warrior, and Winged Beast so that I don't have to chew through that much word soup on every effect. Credit where credit is due, I got the term from Mono Blue Tron. I hate to just copy like this, but it's so useful and succinct. Joseph, if you're watching this, please know that I love your work and it's been a huge influence on me. And Arrowmage TMT when? Okay, brief divergence there, but in short, all the main deck Tribrigades can essentially special summon any Tri-type Link monster from your extra deck using like-typed monsters in the grave. This opens up a wealth of options that we'll get into later, but for now, let's get into what they do specifically. Fraktar is a level 4 Fire Beast Warrior with 1900 attack and 1600 defense. You can send them from your hand or field to the grave to send any level 3 or lower Tri-type from your deck to the grave. None of the included types are really known for their send to grave triggers, so we'll be focusing on what kind of recursion setups they can do for us later in the video. I can see some of you are getting impatient, but hold your horses, okay? Naval is a level 1 Wind-Winged Beast monster with 0 attack and 2000 defense. If they're sent to the grave, you can add any Tribrigade monster from your deck to your hand. This will be your primary target for Fraktar in lieu of anything else, essentially managing to load 2 Tri-types into your grave for free while keeping a Tribrigade on hand to actually use them. So in this case, a Fraktar in the hand is worth 2 in the grave. Saris is a level 2 Earth Beast with 1200 attack and 1500 defense, and you can special summon them from your hand by discarding one other Tri-type. Given the right hand, this is the ideal search off of Naval, and if you manage to pull off the summon, you'll have 3 Tri-types in your grave, giving you a wide variety of Link monsters to choose from, as well as maintaining your normal summon. On top of that, it's the perfect level and type to fit in with the Marfei, or Melfi as they're being localized, and the idea of this hulking Minotaur with a BFG tag teaming with the Premium Plush Patrol gives me the warm fuzzies. Next, let's go over the spells and traps. Tribrigade Line is a continuous spell that lets you send any monster from your hand or field to the grave to search any Tribrigade monster from your deck to your hand, as long as it's a different original type than the sent monster. The downside is that, while it's on the field, you can't special summon from the extra deck save for Tri-type monsters. Also, if it's destroyed by your opponent's card effect while in your spell and trap zone, you can activate an effect that keeps your opponent from declaring an attack for the rest of the turn. So while I could list off the number of ways that this last effect is hilariously ineffectual, I'd like to point out that this is actually pretty good lightning storm insurance, insofar as protecting your spells and traps. Besides, the main reason you're running it is to help smooth out your hands while also loading up material for your graveyard Link summons. And in that regard, it's very good at lining up your play sequences. Tribrigade Airborne is a quick play spell that has you targeting a Tri-type you control and special summoning another Tri-type from your deck with an equal or lesser attack and different type and defense position, but its effects are negated for the rest of the turn, and you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for Link monsters. That last restriction can unfortunately hinder older themes that you try to splash Tribrigade into if used recklessly, but since it's a quick play, you can use it during your opponent's turn and you'll be good to go. Also, if nothing else, you can always just rely on the Tribrigade portion of your deck because it's got some definite heavy hitters waiting in the wings. Unless they're not winged beasts, in which case they'll be waiting in the stables. Tribrigade Revolt is a trap card that lets you special summon any number of your banished and or graveyarded tri-types with their effects negated, then after the effect resolves, immediately link summon a Tribrigade using only those monsters. Revolt will help you recycle your banished resources to use for later, while giving you a monster to boot, and considering your best option, this Revolt can result in some removal as well. Tribrigade Oath is a trap that lets you target any link monster you control and summon a tri-type from your hand or grave of a different type. And this time, it gets to keep its effects too! Also, if you control one each of all the tri-types, you can banish Oath from your grave to target a face-up spell or trap your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. This does require a fully developed and specific board to get the negation off, but will be very helpful in getting past grindier decks that rely on cards like Mystic Mine to stall you out. And hey, even if you never get that, just having a revival trap is pretty neat. Like, imagine chaining this to a special summon effect to get Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds on board. I swear you'll be in stitches. Alright, time to move on to our extra deck elites. Flaget the Fruitless Flower is a Link 2 Earth Beast monster with 1600 attack and requires 2 tri-types as material. During your main phase, you can special summon a level 4 or lower tri-type from your hand, but you cannot use monsters as link material for the rest of the turn except for tri-types. So you're basically under the same restriction as all of your main deck Tribrigades doing their grave linking. Also, if they're sent to the grave, you can draw a card, then place a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. Flaget works as a pretty good extender, letting you summon more monsters out of your hand while helping you dig for the cards that you need. Also, they look like what would happen if Mei Hatsume and Mirako from My Hero Academia did the fusion dance, and that's just swell. Lugal the Silver Bolt is a Link 3 Earth Beast Warrior with 2300 attack and requires 2 or more tri-types as material. During your opponent's main phase, as a quick effect, you can special summon a level 4 or lower tri-type from your hand or grave with its effects negated, and return it to the hand during the end phase. Also, if they're sent to the grave, you can have all of your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack until the end of the turn, for each monster you control with a different type. Lugal is interesting because, by themselves, they don't really do much. Like, reviving a monster for free is pretty nice, but doesn't mean much with a negated effect during your opponent's turn. But the dual-wielding Werewolf is outstanding for enabling the big boss of the deck, Shrike the Wicked Wings. A Link 4 Dark Winged Beast requiring 2 or more tri-types as material, Shrike sports 3000 attack, a kick-ass grenade launcher, and a form-fitting flight suit complete with face mask that will make the medical professionals swoon. And they're not all plague masks and heavy armaments either. When they're special summoned, or another tri-type is special summoned to your field, you can non-targeting banish a card from the field. Like, for free. No biggie. Also, if they're sent to the grave, you can search up a tri-type from your deck to your hand whose level is less than or equal to the number of your banished tri-types. So not only does Shrike act as powerful spot removal the second they hit the board, they also add that effect to every special summon of any other tri-type. It is a hard once per turn, so you can't start picking off entire setups by swarming, but it's still an incredibly useful tool for breaking open boards. And if you don't have a way to trigger them in theme, Lugal and Flaget have you covered, allowing you to summon tri-types on both players' turn so you can karma cut your way to victory. And if they get rid of Shrike, then you just get to search another monster to do it all over again. I wouldn't be surprised if they printed this as one of the chase rares of the set, but if you manage to pull it, you'll Shrike it rich. So we have this extensive theme, but it only really does one thing. Summon Shrike and pick off your opponent's field. And that's a pretty one-note plan. What else can we combine this with to flesh things out? Let's get the big one out of the way. By doing a 3-material Grave Link, you can get Sovereignty Simorgh onto the board. Get the material to make a Union Carrier to pair with it, and you can equip a Mist Valley Thunderbird to Simorgh, who will then summon you an Apex Avian, completing the negation lock. It requires a bit of a grave setup, but any deck that runs the Tribrigade engine can plug it into its plays without much issue. And while the Mist Valley components don't really advance the play sequence if you draw them, they aren't actually hard garnets either, because Union Carrier and Sovereign can both equip and summon them from your hand. Or if you want to keep it simple and not run the Mist Valley cards, just summon a Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds instead. So that's upsetting, but let's branch out a bit. Zoodiac Tribrigade are gaining a lot of traction right now, and hey, who knew, right? One of the most powerful decks of all times, and the theme that's basically all Beast Warrior support are synergizing. Takes in this video are getting hotter and hotter by the second. But in all seriousness, you're going to want to prepare for this matchup. Armed with even more extenders and removal, Zoodiac Tribrigade is a member of the menagerie that will demand your respect. To be honest, I'm curious to see what Tribrigades can do for Gladiator Beasts. While you won't be able to get the search off of Test Panther, you can still tag out your gladiators, which is a pretty cool combo if you have Shrike on the board. Also, this gives you a better reason to run Dragaces. It's not the best link to go into considering current options, but as a free summon off of one of your Tribrigades that makes all your gladiators and armades and can then tag into 2 more beasts, yes please. This one is a long shot, but I'm hoping this will also revitalize Boojins. I love slowly accruing advantage with my Beast Warrior Jaden Yuki, and with Flaget helping to mobilize more material for Xyz summons, the glory days of pumping a Susanoo with an Honest and swinging at an entire field are just a Link summon away. Fire Fist aren't too shabby of a pairing either. I mean, they even made Fractar a fire attribute for crying out loud. But while there aren't a lot of level 3 Fire Fists to send to the grave with their effect, sending Raven to the grave to set up for later plays is pretty choice. The Tribrigade also leave you free to use your Fire Fists for your Synchro and Xyz plays, letting you banish them once you've used them for your Eagle and Peacock. You can also make good use of these monsters for hire. True, the Misfit Sky Pirates have a lot more than Tri-types in their roster, but if you have one of those typed monsters for hire in your grave, Lugal can summon them and trigger all of your other effects during your opponent's turn. Also, summoning a Fulgo for free without having to commit any of your onboard for hires? It's a hair-raising experience. There's also the variety of Link monsters that you can take advantage of regardless of the deck you're playing. Crawsheep? It's a beast. Use a Tribrigade to make it, and now you can use the monsters that you would have used to make Crawsheep to trigger its effects. Firefighting Darumidal can scrap dragon spells and traps for you, and can even recycle the monsters you banished for it when it destroys a monster. And Hresvelgar, normally a pretty hard sell if you want to hard make it, is now just free Graveyard Disruption with the possibility of being a 4800 attack beatstick. And I'm sure there are plenty more that I haven't even touched on, but if I tried to go over every possible combination, I'd lose my mind. Turns out when you make support as broad as every Beast Warrior, Beast, and Winged Beast, there's a lot to cover. Just remember, while an optimal combo with Tribrigade is likely to arrive in the near future, there are endless possibilities open to your favorite themes in the Tri-type family. So at this point, I open the floor up to all of you. Do you have a favorite Beast Warrior, Beast, or Winged Beast theme that you want to splash Tribrigade into? Are you just as tired as I am at seeing broad-reaching effects ending up as lock enablers? And are you looking forward to the future Tribrigade and Dragma lore analysis? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.